Self-improvement doesn't stop on weekends, and Donovan Sharpe's got a lineup that will help you in every area of life. Things kick off on Saturday nights at 8:30 Eastern with Cryptoasis. Learn the ins and outs of cryptocurrency from two of the most knowledgeable experts in the crypto game, Cultivate Crypto and Dollar Cost Crypt. Then on Sunday evening at 6 Eastern, tune in for Weights and Dates with Donovan Sharpe and fitness expert Myron Gaines. This dynamic duo gives guys the cold hard truth about how to navigate today's dating market and how to build and maintain a physique that keeps the ladies coming. Cap off your weekend with the most watched roundtable discussion in this sector of the web, The Seven. While each panelist gives their own unique perspective on men's issues, they all believe in the fundamental principles of self-improvement, conventional masculinity, and what it takes to become the best version of yourself. This weekend lineup gives you everything you need to improve your finances, enhance your physique, and strengthen your mind. So put down the controller, throw away those Cheetos, and take notes. Your path to a better life is only a weekend away.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Appreciate that, JB84. Appreciate it.
Self-improvement doesn't stop on weekends, and Donovan Sharpe's got a lineup that will help you in every area of life. Things kick off on Saturday nights at 8:30 Eastern with Cryptoasis. Learn the ins and outs of cryptocurrency from two of the most knowledgeable experts in the crypto game, Cultivate Crypto and Dollar Cost Crypt. Then on Sunday evening at 6 Eastern, tune in for Weights and Dates with Donovan Sharpe and fitness expert Myron Gaines. This dynamic duo gives guys the cold hard truth about how to navigate today's dating market and how to build and maintain a physique that keeps the ladies coming. Cap off your weekend with the most watched roundtable discussion in this sector of the web, The Seven. While each panelist gives their own unique perspective on men's issues, they all believe in the fundamental principles of self-improvement, conventional masculinity, and what it takes to become the best version of yourself. This weekend lineup gives you everything you need to improve your finances, enhance your physique, and strengthen your mind. So put down the controller, throw away those Cheetos, and take notes. Your path to a better life is only a weekend away.
A woman never belongs to you. It's just your turn. You lost your edge, she lost attraction for you. That's how it works. What'd you think she was gonna do? Tell you she cheated? Men cannot afford to get complacent in relationships. Get your fat ass off the couch, start lifting weights, and learn game. You're welcome.
And now your man, Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 705th edition of TSR Primetime, your nightly dose of what most would consider to be toxic masculinity. It is Friday, January 22nd of 2021. It is good to have you in this evening. We are streaming live to Facebook, Twitter, I think Twitch. No, I don't think we're streaming live to Twitch anymore. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and of course in crystal clear 4K to Sharpe Stream. So however you're watching, wherever you're watching from, thank you for making the Sharpe Reality Primetime a part of your nightly routine. I'm actually going to start doing shows 5 nights a week, including on bowling nights. My bowling nights, because of COVID, what's happening is we're not bowling on the same lanes. So normally, anyone who's ever bowled in a league before, you guys know that when you're bowling against a team, you guys bowl on the same 2 lanes. It's like you go, then they go, then you go, then they go. Well, they have every team bowling on separate lanes, and what that has cut back the time by literally 2/3. So what normally takes around 2 hours, 2.5 hours at the very most, we're in and out of the bowling alley in under an hour and a half tops. And so bowling league starts at 6 o'clock every Tuesday night. We're out of there by 7 o'clock. So there's no reason I can't be on the air at 7:30. As long as I have everything set up, it's all good. It's all good. So I'm gonna start doing the TSR Primetime 5 nights a week. Very, very much looking forward to that. I like doing frequent shows. I like being on the air. I'm much better at it than I used to be. I'm able to self-censor. I'm able to, I'm able to control myself at times for the most part. And so, listen, man, why not expose myself a little bit more? So I'm going to be on the air 5 nights a week. Then, of course, I've got my Saturday show. I've got the crypto show, Crypto Oasis. Then on Sundays, I've got Weights and Dates and the 7. So I have 8 shows. I'm on the air 7 days. I'm on the air eight times a week. 8 times a week. I might actually also be adding another show. I might be adding another podcast to the lineup. And believe it or not, you guys are never, ever in a million years going to believe who it's probably going to be with. I'll let you guys guess in the chat. Whoever can guess it correctly first, I'll give you kudos or something. Right? But it's someone that you, and I think I've probably already given it away. But it's someone you would never, ever guess would want to do a weekly podcast with JB84. Nailed it already. He nailed it all already. Yes. I am in talks with David West. Again. David's a good dude. He's a good friend of mine. I like the kid. And we are thinking about doing a podcast. Now, the podcast idea, actually, let me take this way back. The original idea came from Dr. Thunder, Dr. Sean Wallace. So after last night's stream, he hit me up and he said, listen, man, like the two of you, even though you disagree, you guys do have some, a little bit of on-air chemistry. Why don't you guys do a show together? Christianity versus the Red Pill, et cetera, et cetera. And so I got to thinking about it. I said, you know what? Him and I took we took big shots at each other, but as men, we didn't take it personally. Like, dude, listen, after I got off the air, we're exchanging emails. Hey, man, dude, I'm still planning on going out to Reno. We're going to go shoot. Dude, like, we're still cool. It's almost like this would almost be the Crimson Capsule version of Hannity and Combs, except neither one of us wants to be Alan Combs. But I think that would be, and listen, there are ground rules for the show, and I laid down the ground rules. I said, listen, man, if we do this, you, your wife, your kids, off limits. Not going to talk about Cassie anymore. I'm not going to talk about her situation. I'm not going to talk about your relationship with her. I'm not going to, if he brings up something, then I'll let him speak on it, but I'm not going to go and attack. Well, listen, your wife, this, no. Listen, I'm not trying to break up the kid's marriage. I'm not trying to embarrass the kid, but listen, man, I got to tell you, there aren't many people. I can't really think of anyone on the other side who would ever agree to come on and go toe to toe with me. This kid went toe to toe with me. And dude, I hit him with everything I had, man. And he stayed in there. And listen, man, the show probably would have gone on a little bit longer had I not had to make an important phone call. He was game. He was down for whatever. Now, it does help that he was on the West Coast. It's getting a little late out here. My bedtime is right around 9 o'clock, obviously, because I'm an old man. But I think we should do, I think that this would really help people to understand maybe both points of view. Listen, I'm not going to change that kid's mind, but who knows? Maybe I can learn something from him. Maybe he can learn something from me. And who knows? Maybe indirectly, we both kind of help each other out. Now, listen, I'm steadfast in my beliefs. There's no way you're going to convince me that women aren't, like I have enough experience with women to know exactly how they are. David, not so much. However, sometimes someone who is naive can teach, not teach me anything, but maybe add a little bit of nuance, add a little bit more dimension in the way of my own knowledge in terms of my understanding of women. Maybe, as someone who doesn't have as much experience, maybe he sees things that I don't. Who knows? But David's a good kid. I like him a lot, man. And I want to get him some exposure, man. He's an aspiring filmmaker. He's a man's man. He shoots guns. He likes to go fishing. He hangs out at, cigar bars and all that stuff. And so I think that would be I think it'd be a lot of fun because him and I can get into these hotly contested debates and drink a beer afterwards. It takes an extremely mature individual to be able to withstand that and still be like, hey, man, we're still cool. So I think I think that could be a real game changer. Now, we need a name for the show. I've only come up with one name for the show. This is actually my idea. I wanted to call it The Sinner and the Saint. Listen, when I told him what my idea was, listen, we should call it The Sinner and the Saint. He's like, that's a good idea, but I don't want people thinking that I'm like this stuck-up holier. I was like, listen, man, I'll let him know that it's your idea, but I want to be able to. I want you guys' suggestions. I want your suggestions in the chat. What is a good name? And it's got to be a dichotomous name. The Sinner and the Saint. David and Goliath. I don't know. Something biblical that also has to do with the red pill. I think we could have a lot of fun with this. I really do. I think it'd be a great conversation. Listen, will our talks get a little bit, will they get a little bit fiery? Of course they are. Of course they are. I am steadfast in my beliefs. He is steadfast in his. But at the end of the day, we are on the same side. Listen, we might have a difference in fundamental opinion in terms of who is who and what's what. But I would not do a show with this guy if I didn't think that he was coming from, he's not disingenuous. He really believes what he talks about. Okay. All right. I can respect that. Ed Lattimore, $10 says this is the mainstream move. I never thought of it that way. If this works, this will propel you to the front end. This is some Shaolin and yin and yang combined power of opposites, combined typish. Yeah. Wow. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be? It would. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Fox News, but Fox News used to. Oh, here you guys are already. The nominations are coming in. Fox News used to have a show, a studio show called Hannity and Colmes. Sean Hannity and Alan Colmes used to sit there and debate political topics. Sean Hannity, obviously the conservative, Alan Colmes, the liberal. Dude, they would throw haymakers at each other. They would get loud. But at the end of the show, hey, good to see you, my friend. Dude, they know each other's family. They've been friends forever. He's conservative. Hannity's conservative. Colmes is obviously liberal. They're still very, very good friends. And they had a show. I think their show lasted 5-6 years. Hell, man, if they can do it, I can do it, right? Totally. All right, let's listen to some of these. And if I sound a little funny, it's because I'm wearing my aligners. You guys might hear a slight lisp, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. I'm on tray number 7. So you get 15 trays. When I reach tray number 15, that's when my teeth, you guys can see that my teeth are actually starting to straighten out. A little bit, they're starting to straighten out. So I'm on tray number 7, and so I'm starting to get used to being able to talk, at least normal. Like, I can talk regular conversations, but when I'm on the air, I really, really try to tighten up the way. I mean, I talk the same way in public, so I guess that's not really a good example. You guys get the idea. I'm rocking the Decepticons here. Hashtag Megatron. Hashtag Galvatron. All right, so let's see. JB84. Love this. Dan C says, I want to see David West get his complete red pill awakening from this potential podcast. It would be a touching transformation. I agree. He's going to try to convert me. I'm going to try to convert him. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Mr. E1976 says, who wants to bet that Cassie has had more peace leave than David? Yes, I forget which law number it is, but there is a law in the 49 laws of Sharpe that says the average woman has had sex with more women than the average man. So I would not doubt that. Dan C with a nomination, Man of God versus Man of the World. Okay, all right. Kyle 2020 says Parting of the Red Sea. This is great. The Lion and the Lamb. Whoa! Wow! That is really good. That is really, really good. I like that a lot. The Lion and the Lamb. Wow! Holy moly. Looks like it's snowing outside. Holy damn, I swear to, dude. Oh, yeah. I love the Northeast, but dude, it's time to go. I'm tired of the snow. That's not snowing too bad. It's, yeah, I got a little bit of Heaven's Inferno, that's a good one. The Slayer and the Savior, I love it. I love it. Andre Francis says, can't help but think of David and Bathsheba. The new versus old, The Lion and the Lamb is, dude, that is the leader in the clubhouse. That is the leader in the clubhouse. Red Pill Mike says, don't let him convert you, bro. Wait, which camera is it on? Mike, come on, man. This is me you're talking about here. I don't think either one of us is going to try to convert each other. I just think we both want to get our message out there. I got no problem with that. And there is no better way to, and see, we're both thinking the same thing. There's no better way to contrast the lifestyles than to talk to someone whose belief system is the polar opposite, for the most part, of yours. I mean, listen, I can't think of a better idea. The Brute and the Knight, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like this, the Savior and the Slayer and the Savior. Heaven's Inferno is good. The Lion and the Lamb sounds fantastic. I don't see, Lamb kind of sounds, well, you know, Lamb of God. Yeah, Lamb of God. He takes away the sins of the world. Have mercy on us. Yes, I still know all that Catholic stuff, as I have the Hail Mary. The Power of Opposites for a name, that's a little bit broad. The Lion and the Lamb is really good. That's really good, dude. I think Mike might have nailed it, dude. I think he might have nailed it on that one, man. The Lion and the Lamb. Holy God. I swear to God, man. Mike is he is a Svengali with this stuff, man. Andre Francis says, might be problematic to David, though. I don't think so. Listen. David will not, listen, this is advantage David. This is advantage David. He might be thinking it's advantage David for different reasons, but dude, listen, I think that when we start having these conversations, in the back of his mind, he's going to start to realize, you know what? Cassie actually said this or did that. It's going to, listen, I'm not trying to break him up. I really do hope that they have a long, listen, beautiful family. You know, she's obviously still very attractive. He's going to be a smoke show in about 5 years. But hopefully I can give him some tools to make sure that he can stave off some of this apparent boredom she has, right? And I'm not going to go into talking about, I'm not going in and talking a bunch of shit. I'm not doing that today, right? But the way she has acted over the last few months leads me, she is engaging in the prerequisite activities that would indicate that a wife is bored and is looking for a little bit of excitement. That's it. And if she's looking for excitement outside of her marriage, there could be trouble in paradise. Hopefully, me stepping in will, you know, I'm not trying to be their marriage counselor, man. I want the best for David. I don't give a shit about Cassie. I care about David. So, the trained versus the untrained. Okay. Ice Dragon Kid said, hey, he wanted in the manosphere. Yeah, he's got it. Laborde 1980 says the Dawn and the Prophet. This is great. That's great. Listen, I'll tell you what, guys. Let's go with whatever we go with, the blank and the blank. Let's make sure they both start with the same letter. The Sinner and the Saint has a ring to it because they both start with S. The Lion and the Lamb is freaking out of this world. Andre Francis says theory versus truth. I mean, come on, guys. We have to be objective, not subjective. Oh my God. Yeah, listen, keep those coming, man. Keep those coming. The evil and the divine. The degenerate and the divine, or the divine and the degenerate. That's a good one. The divine and the degenerate. Wow. There it is. The heathen. No, heathen and hedonist. Oh man, there's got to be the heavenly and the heathen and the. What is a word that starts with the letter H? Dancy says the sage and the student. Listen, Dan, I see where you're going, but he's not going to agree with that because everyone's clearly going to think I'm the sage and he's the student, like I'm teaching him something. We have to same letter. It doesn't have to rhyme. No, listen, same letter is fine. I don't think it has to rhyme. But listen, keep them coming, guys. Listen, the Lion and the Lamb is definitely the leader in the clubhouse for sure. There we go. The holy and the heathen. That's fucking great. Come up with another word that starts with the letter H that isn't quite so, because David doesn't want to come off as this, haughty-toddy, well, I'm holier than thou. Come up with Dan C said the heathen and the holy. All right, so you guys are on the same wavelength there. Listen, keep these coming. Keep these coming, man, because I think that this could really be, I think this could be big time. And I think this could be big time for both of us. I really, really do. I really do. Geeky Anomaly, $2, says, I bought her book, Subverted. It arrived today. Speaking of which, let's get to tonight's topic. So, tonight's topic is about a woman by the name of Sue Ellen, and it appears that looks like my thingy is off here. Sue Ellen, oh boy, I've already forgotten her name. Sue Ellen somebody. Sue Ellen, Jesus Christ. So I've already forgotten her name. Now I got to Google it. Sue Ellen Browder. Sue Ellen Browder. She wrote a book. She wrote a book entitled Subverted: How I Hijacked the Woman's Movement. And what she, in this book, and obviously the book is the much longer version, but in this book, why is this not moving? Oh, it's because it's the same thing. Oh, I did double duty here. Okay, so let me get rid of this. Sorry about this, guys. This is on the job. There we go. Okay, so now we can edit this. Oh, okay, so I did double duty. So let's get in here. Well, where the hell is the window capture? Yeah. Hold up. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Wait a minute. Hang on a second.
Your life. Thank you.
Okay, so why can I not edit this? This is okay. So now OBS is acting weird on me. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to get rid of this. Are there 3 window captures? Holy crap, I had this window capture on here 3 times. Jesus. All right, here we go. Damn. This is how powerful my computer is. I can have 3 streams going at once being pushed by the same program. I don't miss a beat. I do not miss a beat. This thing is... I complain because of the sound, but dude, other than the sound, man, other than the sound limitations, dude, this Apple Mac Pro is a howitzer of a computer. Okay. Anyway, so she wrote a book. Pardon me, that details the way that the stories that she made up to swing women into womanism. So, without further ado, I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm just going to play. I'm probably not going to get through the whole video. It's about a half an hour long, but you guys are going to see that women have been lied to. Kevin Samuels actually did a breakdown of this about a week, maybe week and a half ago. And this woman is literally telling us that the stories she wrote in Cosmopolitan magazine were made up. Everything that derived from this, the Sex and the City lifestyle, not have, waiting until, 32, 33 to get married after you sport fucked your way through your 20s. All of this was started by Cosmopolitan magazine. 57 people. What women don't understand these days is that they are living a lie. They think that what they read in Cosmopolitan magazine and Sex and the City and all that, they think that stuff is real. That stuff is not real. This woman literally made up stories in different cities to appeal to as many women as possible. So let's not delay any further. Let's do this.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm very excited for our March for Life lecture today. We have joining us this afternoon Sue Ellen Browder, who began her career writing for Cosmopolitan magazine.
Let me just stop this here. Do you see how feminine this girl is? Do you see how docile? Do you see how... This is femininity. She's not the best looking girl in the world. I would put her at about a 6. Honestly, she's probably about a 6, but you can see that she's obviously not fat, right? Listen, I don't know what her body looks like, but I know she's not overweight. But like she's still got, look at her, look at the twinkle in her eye. Do you think she has the 1,000 block stare? No. You can literally see the twinkle in her eye. You see, this is what women look like before they step on to the CC.
selling the lies of the sexual revolution to young single women. Now she's one of the best-known writers in the pro-life movement. Her book Subverted, How I Helped the Sexual Revolution Hijack the Women's Movement, documents the many vital facts about the purposeful campaign of misinformation that led to legalized abortion.
Misinformation. There you go. Misinformation. Everything that women think they know to be true was literally fabricated. Literally, this is why women are fucking miserable. They don't realize that it ain't working. And now this woman is sitting here telling her, hey, listen, this was all a plan from the start. This is all made up.
In America. So thank you so much for joining us today, Sue Ellen.
Delight to be here. Thank you.
No, it's fantastic. As I was telling you before we went live, I just love your book so much. I've read it 3 times, and it's a fantastic summary of just the history of the women's movement and honestly how the abortion narrative got spread throughout America.
Right. And it's also a love story.
It is. It's a beautiful love story. So to start things out, let's get a little bit of history on yourself, Sue Ellen. You were recently featured in the Daily Signal. They wrote a beautiful article.
By the way, I love Sue Ellen's facial expressions. Like her face is very demonstrative. I love it. She's all over the place. It's great. I love it.
And did a little mini documentary on yourself, which I thought gave a wonderful summary of your book, Subverted, and showing your just transition from writing for the pages of Cosmo to advocating for the unborn in your current journalistic work.
Here we go.
So could you share with us a little bit about your story?
Well, they came out and we taped for 2 days, and they boiled that 2 days of taping down to 14 minutes. And
Wow.
They told that story brilliantly. So you're right. If anybody wants to watch that, they should, because I think they told my story better than I can. But I'm a journalist. I went to the University of Missouri School of Journalism, one of the best journalism schools in the country. And I almost immediately fell from grace when I went to the New York City, and I got a job at Cosmopolitan Magazine.
New York City. Is it any accident that Sex and the City was based in New York City? Is it any accident? Is it any coincidence that Friends, the show that made it popular and cool and normal to sleep with your friends and a bunch of other guys and still end up married to the man of your dreams?
Magazine. And when I was at the University of Missouri, I actually analyzed that magazine for my magazine writing class. How would you sell articles to this magazine? And as you know, I had a pretty good malarkey detector. And I said,
by the way, malarkey means bullshit, lies, right? So when she says I had a pretty good malarkey detector, she had a pretty good bullshit detector. She's aging herself. Obviously, she's an older woman, but I think it's hilarious that she actually just dropped malarkey. And the fact that I know what that is probably says something about my age, too.
You know, I think a lot of these stories in this magazine are made up. I don't think they're real. And when I got to Cosmo, sure enough, they weren't.
Oh, so what she's telling us, I missed this the first time I watched it. So what Sue Ellen is saying here is my BS, my malarkey meter was going off. My malarkey detector was going off. I think these stories are made up, and they were.
They were making up stories, and Helen Gurley Brown, even who was the editor at the time, changed Cosmo from kind of a general interest magazine into a sex rag. Yeah. And she had a list of rules on how to make up stories about these women who are having all these wonderful times, jumping in bed with men all the time and having these wonderful lives.
See this?
And women who are sitting at home in the suburbs with 3 kids going, oh, I wish I could live like that. I wish I could have fun like that. Of course.
Listen. This is something that I say all the time. And I'm not a woman, but listen, I think I could probably say this pretty definitively. It is a lot more fun. It is a lot more fun and exciting to sleep around than to be with one man. It is a lot more fun to ride the CC than it is to be raising 3 children. Now, listen, there are fun times that come with raising children and having a family. But as far as the dopamine hits and the instant gratification that comes with sleeping around, there's nothing like it. That being said, is it fulfilling? No way. Being a parent and raising a family, it's tough. Listen, I'm not a parent, but dude, my mom had 5 of us, right? And she was a good mom until I turned about maybe 12, and then she just went off the rails. That doesn't excuse it, but I kind of understand it. She had 5 kids by the time she was 23 years old. That would break pretty much anybody. But listen, this is what she signed up for. She should have finished the job. Whatever. It is what it is. What's done is done. But having kids and raising a family, that is fucking hard. So when you have these housewives at home with their snot-nosed kids running around drawing pictures on the wall with their cameras, with their crayons, or spaghetti all over the place, the dog is, all kinds of craziness. They read these made-up stories. They're like, oh my God, how much fun would it be to not have to be raising a family? How much fun would it be to be out here having guilt-free sex with any man I want? But what they didn't understand is that there is a price. Yes, sleeping around is far more exciting than raising a family. No one is going to dispute that. But the price, it's too high for women to pay. This is why they're always looking for the back end. This is why women are miserable. They thought that they could have it both ways. They thought they could sleep around and then have the happy family. Every once in a while, some women do pull it off. Those are few and far between, but those are the outliers. I talked to one such outlier yesterday, right? Both of those people are outliers. But dude, 9 3/4 out of 10 people, 10 women who live this party lifestyle in their 20s, they always end up miserable. They always end up miserable. And the reason why is because they don't know what's really going to happen when the party is over. Cosmopolitan magazine sold them a bad bill of goods. They knowingly sold them a bad bill of goods. That's the equivalent of a car salesman selling you a car and they know the starter doesn't work. They know the starter's going to go out in 3 days. Oh yeah, drive this car. Look at all these reviews. Made up reviews. Guy buys the car. He's driving around. 3 days later, his car won't start. That's exactly what this woman did with Cosmopolitan magazine.
These were lies. And so this home in the suburbs with 3 kids going, oh, I wish I could live like that. I wish I could have fun like that. Of course, these were lies.
See that?
So this was sold to the American public, and it's created a very great problem. Many great problems.
See that?
Yeah. So how specifically, once you started working for Cosmo, how did you sell the narrative of this Cosmo girl, and how did that then
listen to this? Oh, listen to this. Let me pause it here so I can read some super chats. Oh, I lost my Sharpe stream, guys. Where'd you guys go? Where'd you guys go? Oh, there we are. There we are. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I love this. The sage and the saved. No. Listen, maybe that's a good suggestion, but I don't want either him or me to have a name that implies that I'm right. To imply that someone is a sage, and listen, I like where you're headed. Come up with another word that starts with the letter S that somehow implies debauchery. The saved and the sinner, or something like that. Something like that. Dan C, the hallowed and the hated. I like that. I like that. Dan C says at least Miss Browder admitted that Cosmo's stories created big butterfly effect issues. Real talk, man. Real talk. That was, it's interesting. That was clearly not a butterfly effect. That was a fucking earthquake. Red Sings the Blues, $5 is just popping in with the support. With David, I learned that trying to red pill my friends or reason with people is a waste of time. Let them live and learn. I agree. Dude, I broke the very rule that I tell you guys not to do all the time, man. I consider David to be a friend. I tried to red pill him. It didn't work. It did not work. Chris Hallow with the $3 super chat says, apprentice teaches the master? No, because who's the apprentice? And listen, clearly I'm the master. Clearly I'm the master. I like it, though. TechnoMage B5 commenting on the video says, fabricated equals propaganda. There we go. Sean McDonald says, David and Goliath. I actually said that earlier. That's good. Lavore 1980 says the way and the truth, a play on Jesus, John 14:6. I think that verse said, I am the way, the truth, and the light, and no man can get to God or something but by me. I probably haven't recited that verse since I was 9 years old. As you guys can probably imagine, I won. Dude, I was an Awana's ace. I have the greatest memory ever, and I won everything. Dude, I won every Bible verse memorization contest. I was undefeated. Like, I obliterated them all. Red Pill Mike says a practical name for your collaboration would be Hope versus History. That's a good one. Red Sings the Blues, $2 says the Saint and the Sinner, no pun. That was actually one that I was talking about. Missouri. Yes, many a great problems. Yes, that junk changed generations of women. Yeah, this is. Oof. Ay. Okay, let us continue.
To selling the lie of abortion.
You have to remember, you have to understand how propaganda works. People.
There it is. Technomage B5 called it propaganda. This is the first time she said it.
Don't understand that propaganda is not just a bunch of lies. It's half-truth, limited truth, and truth out of context. If it were just a bunch of lies, we could all tell. But it's those little truths that are the problem, because you get confused. You think, oh, I believe that, I believe that. So Edward Bernays, who was the Sigmund Freud's nephew, wrote a book called Propaganda in the 1920s, and he was actually kind of considered the father of public relations. So how do you sell, he said, for example, how do you sell a piano to the middle class?
Listen to this. Kevin talked about this earlier.
You sell a piano, which is a very high-ticket item for a middle-class family. You sell it by having all these beautiful pictures and these famous...
You know what? It's funny. She's very convincing. She's very persuasive. You can tell just by the way she talks, her demonstrative facial expressions. She probably wrote this way too. This woman was very good at what she does.
Fancy magazines, in-house beautiful architectural digest of people.
Lorenzo Rock says, look at her face when she said that. Yeah, good call on that one.
Who have music rooms. And once you sell the idea of the music room, people will say, I got to have a piano. Well, how do you sell beautiful clothes, makeup, abortion, contraceptives, all of these things in the magazine, all the things that they're selling, the clothes, single travel, alcohol, all of the things that are in magazines. You sell it by selling the Cosmo lifestyle. And once you've sold the Cosmo lifestyle to a young woman, she'll just think, I got to have this stuff.
There you go.
So that's how propaganda works. And young women don't realize it. And of course now they're selling young women all of these things at a very young age, 12 and 15, before they can even think. And on their cell phones. I mean, it's just awful. It's really hard for young people to sort it out when they can't really even think yet.
Oh, it's so true. And you see,
there it is, man. There it is. There was a concerted effort, a concerted strategy to lie to American women and sell them a lifestyle without letting them know what the true cost was. And you want to know something? I don't think Cosmopolitan, I don't think they cared. Listen, no one had ever pitched this kind of lifestyle. No one had ever endorsed this line of thinking. And Cosmopolitan just said, listen, women don't really live like this. And I'm sure there are a few people that says, yeah, but what are the costs? Like, what happens on the back end, right? Okay, so we talk about sleeping around and having a bunch of fun is all well and good. What happens when she hits 35? We'll worry. But listen, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. Or we'll write articles that says she lives happily ever after. We'll write fairy tales. We'll write fairy tales about a young, pretty girl who goes to college, gets ran through, gets her career, continues to get ran through all the way up the corporate ladder. At 35 years old, she decides to settle down, meets her Mr. Big, that's a Sex and the City reference, and she lives happily ever after. She's a woman who has it all, the career, the man, the job, the kids, all that. Clearly, that's not true.
See so many more magazines like Cosmo.
Oh, shout out to Kevin Samuels, who is in the chat, says it paralleled the Playboy man of leisure lifestyle. There you go. Kevin nailed it on the head. He nailed it on the head. And that is this is the very problem. This is the very problem. Women can't, listen, women and men are different. We say that all the time. But when women date like men, their lives don't end up like a man. See, when a man sleeps around and settles down in his 30s, maybe 40s, he's good. He's good. Sells his wild oats. He, bangs a bunch of chicks, travels the world, 45 years old. You know what? I'm doing pretty good for myself. I'm tired of chasing ass. The hot little 23-year-old at the gym seems pretty fresh-faced. She seems to look at me every time I come in there. Let's go see what she's about. All right, so then he settles out with the 23-year-old. Guess what? He's happy. She's happy. Life is good. You swap the genders. Woman travels the world, sleeps with a bunch of people. At 45 years old, she's thinking, why am I not married? I mean, the hot 23-year-old at the gym, he pounds me out every other Thursday, but he doesn't want a relationship with me. He says I'm too old. He wants kids. I can't have kids. When women date like men, their lives don't end up like a man's does. Listen, women can date like men all they want to. Women can do whatever they want, clearly. But you got to understand, ladies, that there is a cost to everything.
Being targeted at that younger demographic now.
Why? Because it's profitable.
See that?
If a young woman doesn't know who she is, and when we're young, we don't know who we are yet, then they can sell all this stuff. Well, we're going to tell you who you are. And once we tell you who you are, but you're going to have to buy all this stuff to be the person we're selling you. And so they sell them on, you'll notice all these magazines.
Kevin just says it's a choice that empowered women can make. Wink nod. I like that. Samantha in Sex and the City. There you go. There you go.
And everything I get in my email, everything is, it's all about you, but it's really not. It's all about them selling you what they want you to buy.
Wow.
Right?
So true. So one of the elements that I found just really humorous in your book, Subverted, was how you juxtaposed
Lorenzo Rock says she has a sour face. Of course she does. She's old. Come on, cut her some slack.
your own lifestyle to that of the Cosmo.
Listen to this. Listen to this, guys. Listen.
One of the really fun narratives was your cross-country trip with your family and your dog. And so you were a young wife, a mom of two, and you'd settled down in the suburbs. And yet in the pages, you were selling this glamorous narrative of a sexually liberated woman who got ahead utilizing abortion when she...
Do you see this? You see this? This woman had settled down. She married young, had kids. She was living in the suburbs. She was living the life that a woman should live if she wants to end up happy. Yet, she was writing the fantasy. Ladies, think about what just happened on the screen. A woman who is not living the life she is selling you. Okay? A lot of guys talk about false prophets and, oh, he's not who he says he is and he doesn't live this life and this and that and the other. Listen, you guys know that I am who the fuck I am through and through. I live this life on and off the camera. You guys know that I've gone through different stages of life. It is what it is. But then you have these, snake oil salesman accusations. Well, this is literally that in action. Sue Ellen Browder lived the life of a woman who was happy. Married, living in the suburbs, couple of kids, raising her happy family, but then writing about the Sex and the City lifestyle.
Needed it. Quote unquote needed it. So what was it like writing such a different narrative than the life that you yourself were living?
Well, it's interesting because all of the editors, or a number of the editors I knew at Cosmo, were also living a very ordinary life, if you will. Helen Gurley Brown was married to the same man for 50 years, even as she was selling divorce.
See that?
there are a lot of people at Cosmo who were
dude.
living these double lives. Now, how was that for me? Well, when you live a double life, you have a lot of turmoil inside.
There you go.
So in the middle of all this, even though I had this beautiful family and I was living this wonderful life, there was also a lot of anxiety, depression, a lot of conflict inside.
Yes, conflict inside, because she knew she was purposely leading women astray. That's where that inner... This is why I sleep good at night, because I know I'm not out here lying to dudes. I know that what I teach men is the truth. Listen, I am 347% sure that what I teach you guys is the gospel truth. Straight up. Straight up. I sleep good at night. Real talk. This woman, not so much, because she was selling something that she didn't really buy herself. She was selling a lifestyle that she didn't really agree with.
You don't recognize that interior life you've got to deal with that, you know. And so there was conflict there. I don't, you know, it's very kind of you to say it was humorous that you found.
Lorenzo Rock says, yeah, the girl just looks like she ate a bag of sour candy. Okay. Yeah, the young girl definitely has a sour face. Okay, I'll definitely give you that. That's funny.
Humorous, because a lot of people find it very disgusting.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So anyway, but I grew up.
Do you see how feminine? This is so funny. This is, and I know this wasn't supposed to be the subject matter. I want you guys to really concentrate on this girl on the left. Okay, this is. Dude, this girl, I mean, she has kind of a sour face, but whatever. This girl is the picture of femininity and grace. She absolutely will not talk over Sue Ellen. She won't do it. She makes sure, she is so devoutly feminine that she gives like a 2-second pause just to make sure she doesn't interrupt or talk over the other person. Guys, that's femininity. That's femininity.
It took a while, though. It took many, many, many years. I came into the Catholic Church when I was 57. And that is when I began to change my mind and my heart about abortion. And I began to meet a lot of very intelligent, smart, liberated women who were pro-life. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And and when I was in New York, all the women's magazine editors were pro-abortion. All of them.
Wow.
It was just a natural thing. In fact, in this new book, Sex and the Catholic Feminist, there's a chapter in there where we talk about
Sex and the Catholic Feminist? What? Oh my God.
About all these women getting together one time and planning to run pro-abortion articles in a certain issue.
Oh my God.
All
these
magazines. So, but when I came into the Catholic Church, I began to find pro-life, liberated pro-life women. And then I went to the March for Life, or the Walk for Life in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And I could not believe it. All of these beautiful people walking, you know, singing and praying, and there was nothing. This had not been reported in the news. I had not seen it. And I looked at that and I said, wow, the media have missed this, and I'm one of the ones that have missed it. And I think that was the moment when I finally said, okay, all right. Yeah, I was wrong about that abortion stuff.
There you go. See that?
Then that's when I started writing that book. Mm-hmm. Subverted, how I helped the sexual revolution hijack the women's movement. And how did I do it? Well, by propaganda. We see how propaganda works.
That's so true. So one question I have for you.
Kevin Samuels weighing in here. Says, I told David this is all through the church. Yeah, Kevin is, and it's so funny. You got, listen, man, Kevin is as cool as a cucumber. Dude, nothing rattles this guy. Nothing rattles this guy. I've never, ever seen him rattled. Ever. Except for last night in the chat. Dude, Kevin was feeling some type. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, that's, dude, this is how crazy it was last night. I managed to keep my cool, and Kevin was noticeably bristly. It was, dude, last night was just, it was something. It was something.
what originally started you off on the other side of the spectrum? So, kind of joining into the feminist mantra, believing in
Oh, here we
the
go.
abortion narrative. What moment in your life did you start to follow?
Mr. E, 1976 in Sharpe's Dream, absolutely nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. He said, just like Beyonce singing about single ladies while going home to her husband, Jay-Z. There you go. There you go. That's exactly what it is, man. Dan C says, quote, I was wrong. Don't hear that from females too much these days. No, you don't. Now, keep in mind, Sue Ellen is very, very old. Like, the older women get, the more they tend to admit that they're wrong. Funny how that works, right?
That more feminist mindset.
Well, you have to
narrative.
Listen, I'm going to rewind that so you guys can hear the whole question.
Originally started you off on the other side of the spectrum. So, kind of joining into the feminist mantra, believing in the abortion narrative. What moment in your life did you start to follow that more feminist mindset?
Well, you have to remember, in the 1960s and 70s, women were fired for being pregnant. I was fired for being pregnant as a young woman working at a newspaper. Mm-hmm. And so when I came to New York City, the feminist movement was in full swing. People were marching in the streets and stuff. And one thing they were marching for is for women not to be fired for being pregnant.
Listen to this, guys.
I'm like, well, I'm one of these. But what I didn't realize, as I say, and as you know from my book, is that abortion got inserted in the women's movement. That was, again, see, half-truth, selected truth, and truth out of context. All of the rights that the National Organization for Women were proclaiming, I believed in. And then they threw in abortion, and so I just bought that hook, line, and sinker too. But in fact, I was for equal rights for women in academia and the workforce. I was for women going into medical school. I was for women voting. I mean, even though we had the vote then, but I was for equal pay for equal work. I was for all of those things. There was that one thing, abortion, that I didn't realize had been inserted.
They snuck it in there.
List of otherwise very admirable things.
That's so true. So,
all right, I'm going to pause it here and read off some of these super chats. I got a text from Dr. Sean Thunder Wallace. He says that new commercial that I have during the countdown is absolute fire. I'm actually doing another one. Just making good use of my time. Have to advertise somewhere. I don't want to do it during the show anymore. I don't want to run commercials during the show, so I'm going to run commercials during countdowns. Red Pill Mike, $5, says they basically told American women not to be a housewife and say, Callaghan, take me away, to stay single with Tyrone, take me to bed. Wow. Very profound, as usual, by Red Pill Mike. Jesus. Ed Lattimore, $10, says it's disturbing to think that a con job to sell more magazines is resulting in the undoing of Western civilization. The only person who is more of a word and thoughtsmith than Red Pill Mike is Ed Lattimore. That dude is like, I'm glad Ed doesn't do a podcast, because if he did, I'd be finished. Because Ed can, like, what takes me 30 seconds to say, Ed can do it in 4 sentences. That's it. So let's all hope that Ed Lattimore never, ever starts a podcast. His podcast would be exactly 12 seconds. And that's it. That's it. I don't have, like, that is a gift, to be able to summarize vast oceans of theories and concepts and just to be able to condense it. That's not something I've ever been able to do. I'm just a long-winded dude. Nonstop Dre 360 said the noble and the notorious. I love it. I love it. That is great. The noble and the notorious. God damn. Oh, that's good. I like it. Keep them coming, guys. Nixon Talks with the $10 Australian super chat says podcast name suggestion, The Light and the Dark. Says also, I like that. That's actually good. That's a play on many different things. He's white. I'm clearly black. He represents the light. Jesus, I represent the dark. I'm the devil. I like that. Coleon Noir in the house with the $100 super chat says, keep up the good work. Coleon Noir is a staunch Second Amendment advocate. He drives a lot of cool cars as well. And I think he's an Aston Martin guy. If I'm not mistaken. Like I see on his Instagram, he has Ferraris and stuff, but I think Aston Martin, I think is his main chick. Like his side bitch is the Ferrari, but I think Aston Martin, I think that's the wife. Could be wrong. I could be wrong. Oh, I thought that I missed something. Oh, JB84 says, last night was something else. Yeah, man. That was crazy. Okay, let us continue with Le Breakdown.
Could you actually dive in a little bit more about the history of the abortion lobby overtaking the women's movement? I find that element of Subverted so fascinating.
Ooh, boy, listen to this.
Just
what she's about to talk about here is, I can't find the right adjective, is sinister. It's just
seeing how the wonderful elements that you were talking about during the 60s and 70s of the women's movement and trying to really bring about equality that women didn't see in the workforce especially. But then you start seeing a shift in the 70s in particular towards the abortion narrative.
See this?
And the sexual revolution.
Listen to this. This is
which are
crazy.
combined. Same thing, really. One thing that I noticed when I was working, I worked on staff at Cosmo for maybe, it was less than a year, and then I went freelance for another 25 years or so. But I worked on staff, and the one thing that I noticed there, it was the little seed that this book grew out of. The women's movement, the feminist movement, and the sexual revolution in those days were two radically different movements.
Did you hear that? Did you guys just hear what she said? The women's movement and the sexual revolution were two very different things. Keep that in mind.
Helen Gurley Brown would have loved for her sex magazine, Cosmo, to be part of the women's movement. But Betty Friedan, who had launched the women's movement in 1963 with her book, The Feminine Mystique, called Cosmo quite obscene and quite horrible.
See that?
So how did those two get joined together? That was the little question that people kept asking me after I became Catholic, and I said, I don't know. And so as an investigative reporter, I started to dig into it. And it took me many, many years. It's actually, this book started in 2009. It was published in 2015, and now there's a new book out in Sex and the Catholic Feminist that was just published this year. So I've been working on this for 10 years. Wow. Over 10 years. And so what happened was Betty Friedan had a friend, a magazine writing friend named Larry Lader.
Listen to this, guys.
Dr. Bernard Nathanson were the co-founders of what's now NARAL Pro-Choice America. Their greatest goal was to make abortion legal. In those days, the abortion movement was run largely by upper-class white men. They were after abortion, and they wanted to legalize abortion all over the country. Larry Lader was Margaret Sanger's biographer.
This is crazy.
And he was also a radical sexual libertarian. He said that to tamper with abortion meant the whole sexual morality in America would come tumbling down.
Do you see that? Even then, they hadn't even seen what the effect was. Even then, they knew if we legalize abortion, this would change everything.
He was right about that. So he tried to convince Betty Friedan to insert a demand for abortion in the Feminist Bill of Rights. And for a long time, Betty resisted that. She didn't see that abortion was really necessary for women as a.
Can you imagine? Let me just stop it right there. Can you imagine feminism being a separate issue from abortion? Can you imagine a woman who is a feminist who was anti-abortion? Well, yeah, you can actually. This is what happened back in the day. Listen how this is just incredible. This is sinister, man.
Right. But over time, he convinced her. And we don't know exactly what he said. Dr. Bernard Nathanson, who actually, had been an abortionist and claimed responsibility for 75,000 abortions. Not that he did them all personally, but he was in charge of an abortion mill, if you will.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That dude, I can't. Dude, I can't even imagine what. I can't even comprehend something like this. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being responsible for prematurely ending 75,000 lives? Dude, and listen, man, like, at this point in my life, I don't really believe in heaven or hell. But if there is a heaven or a hell or both, wow. JB84 asks, how did this dude live? I don't know. Oh, dude, what a mind job that must have been. 75,000. That is, dude, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. And I'm not, guys, you know me, man. I'm not virtue signaling here, right? Like, dude, I've done some fucked up things in my life. Like, listen, man, I am no choir boy. I am no choir boy. But 75, you are responsible for prematurely ending the lives of 75,000 people.
He worked with Larry later, and he became pro-life, very pro-life before he died, and Catholic. And he said that one thing that they did was they may have convinced Betty that she wouldn't get all her other rights inserted through Congress unless she also included the abortion right.
Oh my God!
And remember now, this is a time when women were being fired for being pregnant. So if you say to corporate America, it's okay, boys, if she'll be on the pill, and if the pill fails, she'll get an abortion. Then maybe equal rights for women, especially equal pay for equal work, made a little more sense. It's hard to say. That's just a guess, but that's a backstory that we don't know completely. But at any rate, he did convince her to insert abortion in the women's movement, and we know the actual night that it happened.
Oh, what she's about to talk about here, this is insane. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is incredible. This is insane.
And that took me a number of years to find out. It was on November 18th, 1967, in the Chinese room of the Mayflower Hotel in Washington, D.C., when about 105 people, mostly women, a couple, 3 men, feminists, met for the second annual convention of the National Organization for Women. And their goal that day and night, was to vote on a Bill of Rights, political Bill of Rights, for feminists to embrace.
Oh my God.
They voted on 8 rights that day and that night. Okay, most of them are things that we all agree on: equal pay for equal work. And the women shouldn't be fired for being pregnant. Women should be able to serve on a jury. In some states, women weren't able to serve on juries. A family should be able to deduct child care expenses on their income taxes. All of these things are things that we agree on. There were only 2 rights that day and night that created an uproar. One was the Equal Rights Amendment. That's interesting because today some people are trying to reinstate that Equal Rights Amendment. I wouldn't worry about that. Even Justice Ginsburg, is very, very pro-choice, has said they'd have to start that all over again.
See that? Even they knew the implications
until they start. So all that's just a bunch of political malarkey. Okay. So forget about the ERA. That was one of the things they fought over. Now, these are feminists that fought over this. The other thing they fought over, and they fought till almost midnight, was over
Again.
the abortion right. Women were screaming. People were saying, I'm against murder.
See this? These are feminists fighting each other to legalize abortion. So there were two factions. There were feminists that believed in Noit Roba. Don't want to get flagged here. And then you had feminists that did not believe in Noit Roba. Guys, like, you guys can see the evolution of the women's. This is when the women's movement became feminism. This is almost like the AFL and the NFL joining up to become the NFL, right? There used to be the National Football League and the American Football League, and it was two separate leagues, and they both had a champion, the NFL championship, the AFL championship. Well, one year, the president of the AFL, Lamar Hunt, I think, yes, and the president of the CFL, or the NFL, George Halas, said, hey, how about we put our champion up against your champion, which is now what is known today as the Super Bowl. That happened 55 years ago. This is why the AFC champion gets the Lamar Hunt trophy, and the NFC champion gets the George Halas trophy. This is essentially what happened at the hotel. You had the AFL and the NFL. You had two opposing factions. They all just kind of cannibalized each other. I'm sorry, not the no, it was the AFL and the NFL back then. But now it's the AFC and the NFC. They're not leagues, now they're conferences. Team, division, conference, league.
All the things that people have been saying in our culture today were said in that little room that night. It was like a microcosm of what's still going on today.
Wow.
And after that dust settled, it was almost midnight. And Betty Friedan was a powerful lady, and she rammed this through because she thought once she was convinced of something, she did it. Mm-hmm. And as when the dust settled, only 57 women, 57 people in that room had voted to insert abortion as a right into the women's movement. And 1/3 of those ardent feminists, founders of NOW, walked out and later resigned from NOW over the abortion vote. So this battle I say that this was the genesis moment of the battle over abortion that we're still fighting today.
11/18/67. I put this in the chat, guys. 11/18/67. November 18th, 1967. That is a day that will live in infamy. Can you imagine the lot? This is blowing me away. It really is.
Years and years, decades yet later. And it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. But where did those women go? The ones that resigned, those were pro-life women. One woman who was Betty Boyer, she was a lawyer in Cleveland, Ohio. She said a baby is a sacred trust.
See that?
Those women went and they founded another organization called WHEEL, the Women's Equity Action League. Now, people have not heard of this because when I was in Cleveland, even the pro-lifers I spoke to in Cleveland had not heard of Betty Boyer and her group. But WHEEL did a lot of wonderful good work.
Right, and that was their problem. They had to get the word out.
They fought to get rid of help wanted male and help wanted female ads in newspapers. They fought to get for sports programs for young women. They fought for the Pregnancy Discrimination Act, which made it illegal for a woman to be fired for being pregnant. They fought for the Equal Opportunity Act of 1970.
This is unbelievable.
I don't know. Equal Credit Opportunity Act, which made it illegal to discriminate against a woman who was married in terms of giving her credit. So they fought for lots of things and they won lots of things. But I think it's safe to say that they didn't want the publicity because they didn't want people to know that they didn't want their bosses to know that there were some of those women out marching on the streets.
See that? You see that? Isn't that funny? If you hold conservative views or that men and women are different, a lot of guys are afraid to maybe voice those opinions. Interesting.
So when the pro-choice feminists wanted the publicity, they said, "Oh, just let them have it." And as a result, I think it's safe to say that the pro-life feminists that walked out of that room that night, won a lot of the victories that we now take for granted today. And the pro-choice feminists got most of the media credit. I think that's safe to say.
Dude, unbelievable. Definite G says, wow, the black community was hit hard by this. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Listen, a lot of people think that Noit, and again, she says, listen, the whole Noit Roba thing was run by, old rich white men. Maybe it was sort of a hidden agenda to sort of keep the melanated community under control. And it's worked because we still only represent 13% of the U.S. population.
That's a fantastic take on all of it. And I really encourage everyone also to read your book, Subverted. It really.
I'm gonna pause it right there. It's so cute how this girl, dude, she is so terrible at this, but it's so cute because she's so feminine. She's giving it a shot here. Let me read some of these super chats here. Jake with the $5 super chat says, shout out to Kevin Samuels and Coleon Noir, Red Pill Brotherhood, all of us in here, Donovan show to a pimpin' these 304s. I love it. I know what 304s mean now. I do. See, I'm cool now. James Young, $20 says, Ms. Browder just proved that women will deceive other women if it benefits them. Dude, women will deceive anybody if it benefits them. And they will turn on each other in a heartbeat. Tyler D, $5 says, I see, quote, real feminists all the time who are profile. Morally, they can't justify it within themselves. Trying to tell you, man. Trying to tell you. Red Pill Mike, $5 says, the truth is, if most modern women today watch this video, they would jump on the rationalization wheel and say times are different now, accept it. You're right. You're right. Listen, women will never, ever, ever admit, you know what? We were wrong. We were wrong. Dude, there are women in their 50s. Bra-burning feminist, I don't need a man. Miserable as all get out. And they know it's because of their lifestyle. Still would not admit it. Still would not admit it. Still won't admit it.
Just dives so deep into this topic. And I remember reading it for the first time and hearing the vote of the 57.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to hit the record button. Here we go. All right.
And having never heard of that before, and that the decision to change.
Yep, they doubled down for sure.
The direction of the women's movement forever really was decided by a very small majority of the women of now, and that it split the organization in half.
Yeah, amazing, amazing.
Amazing.
That chapter 5 in that book allows you to go into that room and live that story. And that was, how did I get that information? Because it had never been reported before. The National Organization for Women has its papers housed at the Schlesinger Library in Boston, Harvard, and Radcliffe. And you have to get their permission to get in.
Dude, listen to this. Listen to the hoops she jumped through to get this information.
And so I said to a friend of mine, I says, they're not going to give me permission to get in.
Right.
And she says, yeah, try it. They might. And I asked them for permission. I had it within a week.
Wow.
And so I was able to go into that library. And the librarians there, to be honest, I was researching this. Investigative reporting is always expensive, and you never have enough money to do it. So I was working at JCPenney selling jewelry as I was writing this book to make ends meet. And I didn't have the money to go to Boston from California to look at those papers, but the librarians at the Schlesinger Library will do 150 pages of research for you a year and send you the information by email for a pittance of money. And it was December. So I could get 150 pages in December, and I could get 150 pages in January. Because I was sight unseen, I didn't know what I was asking for, so I had to just kind of stab around in the dark. But I got enough stuff. Some of it was just garbage, but I got enough stuff. I got letters that were written by women who resigned from the organization, who walked out of that meeting that night. And
dude, you know what? I would love to I wonder if there's any way to get that information, man. You know what? I'll bet you it's probably in her book. Somebody in the chat said that they bought the book Subverted. He said he got it today. Somebody keep me up. I might actually buy this book. I think I'm going to buy this book. I think I'm going to buy it on Amazon. I'm going to get the Kindle version and I'm going to read it. Cuz that is incredible. I would love to see those letters from the pro-life womanists who resigned because of the Noit Roba earmark, I suppose.
Told what had happened. They had written those letters, and they were furious, and they'd written those letters within a day or two of the meeting. So this was eyewitness stuff that had never been reported before. So it was good to find.
It's great information to know. So, in your opinion, how is abortion opposed to the original efforts of the women's movement and the well-being?
Listen to her question. I know I talked over, but this is a very good question she's going to ask here.
In a day or two of the meeting. So this was eyewitness stuff that had never been reported before. So it was good to find.
It's great information to know. So, in your opinion, how is abortion opposed to the original efforts of the women's movement and the well-being of women today?
Well, women shouldn't have to choose between having a job and having a baby. I mean, we should be able to have both. And
now you still see. She's got a little. Listen, now she can see that she's still got a little bit of womanist in her. A woman shouldn't. Now, listen, she did say a woman shouldn't have to choose between a job and having a kid. But, and listen, man, there's nothing wrong with a woman doing, working part-time somewhere, just as a hobby, whatever the case may be. But dude, you can't raise a family and have a career. You cannot serve 2 chocolate chip bacon and caramel corn cookies. What? Chocolate chip bacon and caramel corn cookies. Something just flashed across my Echo show, and I'm going to leave that alone because that actually sounds quite magical, to be honest with you. Sorry about that, guys. I'm easily distracted by radical sweets. God, what was I saying? I got twisted by that cookie. Jesus. All right, let's continue.
we should have more family.
Oh, yes, right. You can't serve 2 gods. Listen, it's possible for mom to have a part-time job, maybe raise the kids if they're on autopilot, meaning they're in school, right? Take them to school, drop Junior off at 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, whatever. Just work at the local JCPenney, whatever the case may be. But dude, these 9 to 5s in corporate America, that ain't working. It's not working.
Friendly policies. We would have more family policies in corporations if we didn't have abortion as an option. Yeah. We'd have more family-friendly policies in colleges so women could finish their college educations. I think.
How about we not have kids and then go to college? See, again, listen, I give it to Sue Ellen for being honest about this. But even still, you can see that she wants it both ways. She wants women to be able to have kids and still have jobs. Is it possible? Yes, women do it all the time, but something's got to suffer. The job's going to suffer or the kid's going to suffer. Can't be good at both, right? Then she wants, family friendly and, girls should be able to have kids and still finish college. Look, what? What are you worried about college for? You got a kid to worry about.
I think the truth of the matter is that women on both the right and the left, if you will, what we call the right and the left, really agree on.
Just a few more minutes in this video, guys.
On a lot more than we think we do. For example, the Me Too movement is also protesting the sexual revolution.
Here we go. See this?
So we're protesting the same thing. We're protesting the idea that women should be treated as sex objects. And what does abortion and contraceptive do? Well, the Humane Vitae told us what it would do. Men would see women as objects to be used for their sexual pleasure. And what has happened? Men are seeing women as objects to be used for their sexual pleasure.
And there you go. There you go. All these complaints that the early, the first wave feminists, We don't want to be looked at as objects. They weren't. Women weren't looked at as sexual. Listen, the hoes, the 304s were. But the average woman was not looked at as an object. You want to know why? Because a man back then knew that if he had sex with a woman, he could get her pregnant. And if he got her pregnant, guess what? He got to take care of the kid. That's not objectifying a woman. Wanting to have sex with a woman does not objectify her. Wanting to have sex with a woman without the worry of pregnancy, that's objectifying a woman. And the minute a woman starts birth control, the minute she's on the shot or the pill or IUD, Depo, whatever the case may be, she becomes an object. She becomes an object. Once a woman is on birth control, which means she can't get pregnant, she's just good to get fucked. She's just good for, she is literally an object, just a fuck toy, a fuck doll. She's on birth control, fuck it. Let's shoot our loads in her. I mean, guys, this is, and women complain about I don't want to be objectified. Yep. They're the first to put booty pics on Instagram.
So we are all protesting the sexual revolution, the false joining of the sexual revolution with the feminist movement. And that's why I say the pro-life family feminist movement, the pro-life movement, is the authentic feminism of the 21st century.
Wow.
So if you could give one piece of advice to the pro-life movement, what would it be?
Well, I think I'd like to see them pray and fast until God.
Okay, all right. So that's the end of that. I don't need all that. But you guys can see that clearly the girl power movement was made up. There is no truth in that narrative. The people who are responsible for pushing that narrative did so in such a way, and Don Draper actually put this very well in Mad Men. He says, listen, we use love as a way to sell nylons. That's it. Cosmopolitan magazine used the girl power movement to sell everything. They sold the lifestyle. That devolved into Sex and the City. That devolved into what it is now. Women were lied to. And Mike, Red Pill Mike in the super chat said it best. If women were to watch this right now, they'd be like, times are different. They would just double down like they always do, even though they're miserable as you know what. All right, let's read the rest of these here super chats. Matt Yasa with the $10 super chat. I greatly appreciate your contribution there. Oh, by the way, a big shout out goes to, I don't want to say his name on the air. I'm going to call him Rodrigo A. Rodrigo A, I got your $300 Cash App. Rodrigo A, thank you for the $300 Cash App. He sent me the $300 Cash App for my show with David last night. So Rodrigo A, listen, Rodrigo, send me an email, man. Send me an email. I'm gonna give you How to Master the Game video version on me. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very, very much. Anybody who makes a $300 plus donation, like I'll give, dude. I got you, dude. I got you covered. Nonstop Dre 360 says, imagine how bad things will be in 15 plus years, dude. We might run out of people, man. We might run out of people. Cold Steel $10 says, I think. Hang on a second. Need to increase the size here because I'm getting. There we go. There we go. Cold Steel $10 says, I think that legal abortion brainwashed women that it's okay to have babies out of wedlock with broke, popular Tyrones. It's survival of the free riders instead of survival of the fittest. Wow. Wow. Very, very well said. Very well said. Jake, $5 says, we can fix society and the family structure real quick. Make birth control and baby delete illegal and make DNA testing mandatory at every birth. There it is. Yep. Those two little things would change the world. Could not agree more. Cold Steel, another $5, says the movement brainwashed women to move from a provider model to a simping and tricking model of relationships. Ay. Tora Warrior with the 5 New Zealand dollars. Says, in the last days, all the truth will be revealed. Red pill. Jordan Price, $5 says, so now that 70s show where Jackie, Mila Kunis, had the episode with Kelso Ashton Kay, turning him into a girly guy because she, quote, read it in Cosmo. I remember that episode. I remember that episode. That 70s show. Ay. Excellent episode tonight, gentlemen. Excellent episode. I bought peanut butter whiskey. I'd never heard of it before until tonight. I was at the liquor store and I saw this peanut butter whiskey and the girl's like, yeah, it's really popular. You mix it with this like semi-sweet grape wine and it tastes like a liquid peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I said, oh, I'm in. And there were like 2 other people like, yeah, we tried it. So I'm going to be having liquid peanut butter and jelly as a late night snack. I'll let you guys know how that goes. That's going to do it for this edition of TSR Primetime. Thank you very much to all of my patrons, all of my super chatters. Thank you all very much for your support. Rodrigo A., send me that email so I can get you that course. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow on Crypto Oasis at 8:30. Take care. Get thousands of hours of content not found anywhere on patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. Link in description.